And while Biden is injecting critical race theory back into federal policymaking, Netflix is streaming it right into your home and even targeting your kids. Well, the company has announced 3 projects with racial indoctrinator and author Ibram X. Kendi. Now, the film projects are intended for audience of all ages and will include a cartoon series called Anti-Racist Baby, aimed at, well, brainwashing preschoolers. So how are parents supposed to fight back against this insidious propaganda? Joining me now is Libby Evans, senior contributor at The Federalist and senior editor at The Post Millennial. Libby, it's obvious that you can just cancel Netflix, but this is slowly taking hold of every institution, and we see it in the curricula of our junior high schools, our high schools, and increasingly our elementary schools, where most kids don't even see race. They're now forced to see it.
Yeah, I think that's really a pretty big problem. And I think that's what's most interesting about this Kendi project with Netflix is that in addition to a sort of documentary scripted series for adults and one for high schoolers, there's also this musical adaptation of something called Anti-Racist Baby, which is a board book that came out in June. And it's going to be directed by the person who did Doc McStuffins, which was a great show. But Anti-Racist Baby directs toddlers to confess their racism. And I think also in putting this kind of programming, feeding it to toddlers and little kids, we're teaching kids that the only way to look at the world is through a lens of race. We're teaching them that race is the most important factor about a person, that there are things you can tell and understand about a person based on looking at their racial, their skin color or
let
their
me read
race
a
or whatever.
sample.
And
let me read a sample of what children can learn so people understand what we're talking about here. This is from Kendi's new Netflix project.
A not racist is a racist who is in denial. And an anti-racist is someone who is willing to admit the times in which they're being racist. This construct of being not racist and denying one's racism goes all the way back to the origins of this country.
That was a TED Talk in June, Libby. Not only does he claim our founders were racist, but everyone right now apparently is racist.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. I think the idea is that white people are complicit for the racist sins of their ancestors, and that every white kid is responsible for this history, and it's just not reasonable, and it goes completely against everything that we were taught by the civil rights movement. In fact, Kendi has a big grant right now that I think was given to him by Jack Dorsey at Boston University, which is where Martin Luther King went to school himself, and this completely undoes King's legacy. It's just a reversal of everything that we understand about equality. We know that we were created equal under God. We know that there are no things that you can tell about a person based on looking at them. We all learned that you don't judge a book by its cover. And here we are being told to do exactly that, not only to do that to others, but to do that to ourselves, to look at ourselves and say that for some reason our skin color is definitive in some way.
Well, parents have to really be aware of what's being taught to their kids and speak out if they think it's not fair. We want all people to be treated equally without regard to race or ethnicity or where you came from. And this is concerning, but it's big business, the big money being made. A lot of corporations checking the boxes as well. Libby, thank you so much.